a unique opportunity to recognize and appreciate the vital role that federally qualified health centers like Heartland Community Health Center play in our community. First and foremost, health centers are pillars of primary care and wellness across the country and in our neighborhoods. Heartland and health centers like us offer a wide range of services, including preventative care, chronic disease, and behavioral health. In fact, 1 in 11 people in the United States get their health care from a community health center, including 20,349 area residents. National Health Center Week isn't just about acknowledging an organization. It's about appreciating the dedicated healthcare professionals who work tirelessly to improve our community's well-being. From doctors, dentists, therapists, pharmacists, nurses, and the administrative staff and board of directors, these 153 employees demonstrate unwavering commitment to care in Lawrence and the surrounding area. These efforts deserve recognition and gratitude as they go above and beyond to make a difference in people's lives. Because Heartland acts as a crucial bridge to care in our community. We promote health education and preventative measures that address social determinants of health, while developing new approaches to integrating a wide range of services beyond primary care to meet the needs and challenges of our community. For example, across the country, health centers like Heartland have more than doubled our behavioral health workforce in the last decade to meet America's growing health and mental health concerns. Last year, Heartland provided behavioral health services to 4,498 patients. Celebrating National Health Center Week is also an opportunity to raise awareness about the continued support and funding of these vital organizations. As we face challenges in the healthcare landscape, health centers remain a beacon of hope for those in need. And by highlighting the contributions that these organizations give, we're giving the opportunity for policymakers and stakeholders to invest in these organizations and make sure that resources in our community are available today and in our community's greatest time of need. For example, when faced with emergencies, natural disasters, and most recently pandemics. We become essential in providing healthcare services, testing, and support to affected communities. We are seeing this now more than ever as our community faces the challenges with substance use. Last year, Heartland provided medical-assisted treatment for 504 patients, including 232 which were diagnosed with an opioid use disorder. In conclusion, National Health Center Week serves as a reminder of the indispensable role that health centers play in our community and our lives. We are beacons of hope, centers for compassion, and we welcome all who need care. By celebrating this week, we not only express our gratitude to the tireless and dedicated staff, we commit ourselves to the idea that everyone deserves quality health care, and it's a fundamental right for all. So thank you for joining us in your support and celebrating these champions of health and well-being.
Yeah, I'll read the proclamation. Nearly 10,000 Douglas County residents are uninsured, disproportionately impacting residents based on their race and ethnicity, place, age, and income, and federally qualified community health care centers like Heartland have provided high-quality, affordable, comprehensive primary and preventative health care in medically underserved communities. As the country's largest primary care network, community health centers are the health care home for over 30 million Americans, including 20,394 residents served by Heartland last year. And whereas health centers develop new approaches to integrating a wide range of services beyond primary care, including oral health, behavioral health, and pharmacy services, to meet the needs and challenges of their communities. Health centers have more than doubled their behavioral health workforce in the last decade to meet Americans' growing need for behavioral health services. Last year, Heartland provided behavioral health services to 4,498 patients. And whereas the community health centers are governed by patient majority boards, ensuring that patients are engaged in their own health care decisions. This model continues to promote proven effective means of overcoming barriers to healthcare access, improving health outcomes, and reducing healthcare system costs by helping manage patients' chronic conditions, which keeps them out of more expensive healthcare settings like hospitals and emergency rooms. And whereas community health centers are on the front lines of emerging healthcare crisis, providing access to care for our nation's veterans, addressing the opioid epidemic, and responding to public health threats in the wake of natural disasters. And whereas during the National Health Center Week, we celebrate the legacy of community health centers and their vital role in shaping the past, the present, and the future our community health care system. Therefore, I, Lisa Larson, Mayor of the City of Lawrence, Kansas, do hereby designate August 6th through 12th as National Healthcare Week. We encourage all of Lawrence residents to take part in this week by supporting the local healthcare centers, celebrating the important relationship between community health centers and those that they serve. So thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
We'll move on to proclamation, or I'm sorry, public comment item C. The public is allowed to speak on issues or items that are not scheduled for discussion on the agenda. Comments should be limited to issues and items related to the business of the governing body. The commission will not discuss or debate these items, nor will the commission make decisions on items presented during this time. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any general public comment?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Mayor and Commissioners, my name is Katie Walter, I live at 732 Rhode Island. And I just wanted to thank you and staff for all your work you do for the community. And I'm so sorry you've experienced so much abuse in this room in the past couple of years. So stay strong. But I have a question. I noticed in the paper that the city is doing a complete survey of the old dead mall and city offices in the area. And the people of the Board of East Lawrence is just curious about why are you surveying it? Is this in preparation to buy the mall? Is this just routine? So you don't have to answer that tonight, but we would like to know. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Any other general public comment?
This is Chris Flowers, and I would just, I'm here to advocate that we do away with our ordinance that prohibits more than 3 unrelated people from living, like from the renters living together. I like to call it the Golden Girl rule because the Golden Girls did an episode about it, and they basically they found a legal loophole around it. We need to do away with that ordinance, and here's why: is we're in a housing crisis, and we have houses that are built for more than 3 people. So why aren't we letting more than 3 people live in those houses that were built to house more than 3 people? So, and I would just like to say, I don't know if I'll make it through to the next round, but if I do, this will be an issue I'm going to be bringing up. And I think it's just common sense. If we're going to say we don't have enough housing for people, that we let the houses that can house more than what they currently house, let them house what they're built for. So expect to hear that if I get through. Thank you.
Any other general public comment?
Hi, I'm Paula Slater, and I had been waiting to get up here, but I didn't even know where to park before. I will admit, that was a problem out here because I've heard from other people. I sure would have put some signs up so we understand where do we park safely. And those signs out there only for the wherever. I asked the woman when I came in and I didn't get in trouble. She didn't know. My main concern, I've been here 10 years. My background is social work, and I stay busy always down at the ground level with people. Homeless and low income have been a major focus of mine, and sadly, for me, I'm moving at the end of the month to Wichita. If I'd be here, you'd get to know me more. I've been involved. I don't like to hear people give a comment or judgment about, oh, they're doing good or they're doing bad, unless they actually put their feet into it. And I work with Links. I helped out at the winter shelter this year. I gave things to the winter shelter before. I've gone to the fenced side and the unfenced side, visited people. The pallet housing, I visited people. I kind of go back and forth. I give it all about a 5. It seems good. What I give the best quality to was last year's winter shelter that I called behind the hospital in Library Mesh. The one this winter seemed like it was such a throw together stupid thing when we knew it was coming. I gave several times there. The people, it worked out okay, but it was not properly handled ahead of time. It was very surprising to see it so poorly, but yet the people that helped gave good help, and it was there. now going out to the housing areas. I am surprised, I did approve what I heard of, people I spoke with the other day in the fenced side. I don't know if I really accept that, I think there's always bits, I don't know for sure yet. But at least I did see they have food available, they've got their shower. When people were saying, well, we don't have any food, we don't have a place to take a shower, I found out, my gosh, they can go down to the what do we call it, the parks, where the winter shelter was, you guys have so many, the community buildings. They can go up to the Salvation Army. I work out at Ballard some of the time. I've had to tell them over and over, just make a phone call. You can come in there and get some clothes, you can get some food, but they don't let you just walk in. So I am proud, we have a lot of people working on this. My hope is that the pallet, home housing is going to, that is a big, big disappointment. They didn't get into action. We knew it was coming, how it didn't get planned, you guys know more than I do. And especially, I never knew what happened with the Haskell place. I thought that was an A+, near the housing authority, near Independence.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other general public comment?
Told you I was going to do that. Kurt can focus on an appropriate screen.
That the podium is now blank.
That's, Kurt can switch to a different screen. He can zoom in on me from a different screen.
We need to
He's
have that.
manipulating the feeds.
Wait a minute, we need to have that back like it was.
Then he needs to not manipulate the feed. I sent an email
We need
to
to
all
have
of
it
you
back.
guys calling that out. He needs to not manipulate the
Put it
feed.
back.
The podium can be raised and lowered to change the view.
He needs to not manipulate the feed. Nobody responded to me last week when I sent in that complaint about Kurt and his bias on the feed, and since nobody responded, I told you I was going to take that down. If anybody has any questions, you can go back and watch last week's video and see what I'm talking about.
And if you raise the podium.
I don't need to raise the podium. He's got a camera right there he can use. I can help understand what's going on out in the homeless camp because I do have feet on the ground. I posted 2 videos talking about why Pallet will fail. Pallet will fail because the city does not have a service provider to manage Pallet. Can you see what he's doing? That's nuts. He's got all these other cameras he can use, but we won't spend time on them tonight. We'll deal with that in court later, because those things are coming, guys. Pallet is going to fail, number one, because you don't have any service providers that are willing to bid on your contract because the contract is too heavily laden with city controls. That's literally the word that came back from the service providers. We have an example of what city controls looks like out at the North Lawrence camp, where trespassing is discretionarily approached at best. Supportive advocates who help those people have been kicked out of there. But a man who was trespassed out of there was allowed to go into the camp, antagonize and harass people. He's suspected of raping another individual. Staff would not make him leave. Staff would not step in to do anything about that. And Vance is in jail now because he protected his community. Today I put up a live feed and I equated this for you guys so that you can understand it. Somebody's in your screened-in front porch because that's what you created out there with that fence. That's their screened-in front porch that's supposed to be secure according to city staff. And advocates are thrown out quick. Well, we've never harmed anybody, but that's his screened-in front porch. So somebody's on your screened-in front porch threatening you, making your wife uneasy. And there's a strong suspicion that he raped your neighbor. How are you going to handle that? Nobody else is coming to help you. You got a guy trying to fight you right there, but you guys got this guy in jail right now. A military veteran without a criminal record, defending his camp. He's busy typing. He can't It's pathetic. And you guys continue, every week we see it in here, and we hear people talk about the abuse that you receive. Guys, they signed up for this. They ran for election, they wanted this. All they have to do is let us speak for 3 minutes. Bart Littlejohn has made an issue out of it, Lisa Larson's made an issue out of it, Courtney Shipley's made an issue out of it, all 3 of them, when they sit in the middle chair. And I'll just point out, I just mentioned 3 commissioners. I did not get shut down, Chris. That's the hypocrisy. Pathetic. Did you hear that? That's wild, man.
Other public comment? If not, we'll go to Zoom.
Stacy Knoll. You're muted, I believe.
Can't hear you. Still can't hear you, sorry. Are we on?
I just need to go out and make sure this is not.
Yeah, we're not hearing it. No. Hang in there just a second, we're working on it.
Kurt, can you?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Oh, you got it, okay. Thank you.
Almost.
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 There we go.
Hello.
Yes.
Yay, fantastic. Let me start my timer over again. Let's try, or someone will keep time for me?
Yes, you will.
Hi, my name is Stacy Nell, and I want to thank the mayor and commissioners for giving us public comment time. I am actually here in my capacity as the executive director of the Kansas African American Affairs Commission. You might be asking, why is the executive director of the Kansas African American Affairs Commission here at the Lawrence City Commissioner meeting? But I'm here to provide support for the Crown Act that I know that we're seeking to pass on the Lawrence level. Similar bills have tried to make their way through the state legislature. We can't seem to get it passed at the state legislature. So I fully support the idea of having these bills passed as local ordinances. And so I wanted to lend my voice to support the passage of such a bill. Rather than giving some sort of formal declaration or some sort of formal testimony, I want to take time to give my own story about how I decided to deal with my own hair. I cannot ever remember a time as a child where I had natural hair. I'm of the generation where the only thing that was considered good hair was relaxed, straight hair. So I grew up having relaxed, straight hair. It wasn't until I was in my 40s and had children, I remember very clearly my children who themselves have big, curly, dark hair. About at 2 years old, my daughter went to a birthday party and there were some pictures that were taken. And when I got those pictures back, it struck me how different she looked from the rest of her little blonde friends with their stick straight hair. At the time, I was wearing my hair alternately relaxed in a straight style, or if I had extensions in, they were straight extensions. And I remember my daughter was about 2 years old, and she looked at me one day and she said, "Mama, I want hair like yours. I want princess hair." And I remember that sentence wasn't quite even done coming out of her mouth. I knew exactly what she wanted. She said she was telling me that she wanted straight hair. And I knew that my little baby girl was never going to have straight hair unless I did something to it to make it straight. And I remember right then making the decision that I was going to go natural with my hair. It was a process, but I knew it was the right thing for me. And I wanted to make this point. I have been asked when I gave testimony in front of the Kansas State Legislature, a representative asked me, if we pass this Crown Act, will it actually help? Will it make any kind of difference? Similarly, this may not seem as related, but hang with me. I was at a business summit in Newton, Kansas just last week, where someone who was with the Chamber of Commerce of a small town out in western Kansas was mentioning, gosh, how can we help to retain our African American residents? At one time, we had about 30% of our Chamber of Commerce with Black business owners, but now it's reduced. My answer to that and my answer to the state representative is pretty much the same thing. I think if my 2-year-old, when she was 2, could be aware, she was aware of the societal and cultural norms that stated that the only good hair was straight hair, or the reside, heavily in our culture. I think all of the reasons that powers that be
Time.
system.
Thank you, Stacy. Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you. The other general public comment on Zoom.
That's all the comments.
All right, we'll bring it back to the commission. Move on to the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered under one motion and approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Members of the public wishing to speak on an item that has been pulled off the consent agenda will be limited to 3 minutes for comments. Any items that a commissioner wants to pull off the consent agenda? Not, I'll go to the audience.
I'm surprised.
D7.
D7G.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Do you mind repeating that, Commissioner Nicolai?
What?
Do you mind repeating that?
That D7G.
Thank you.
Okay, the commissioner, anything you want to do? All right, we're in the audience. Anybody in the room want to have anything pulled?
It's your last chance.
Not on Zoom?
Nobody owns it yet.
Okay. Then we'll go back to the commission. That's the motion.
May I just make a little comment? So I couldn't, my email was not responding today. It's about the sale and possession and consumption of alcohol. I'm not pulling it, but it used to be, this is maybe more direction for Brandon, because I don't know if Mason's on. It used to be they would show us the application and the maps, and they haven't been doing that for a while, and that's just like really useful to us, especially when we hear from neighbors about what the plans are. And so I just thought I'd throw that, just a bit of helpfulness. Thanks.
That's interesting.
Move for approval of the consent agenda with the exception of D7G.
Second.
Okay, first and second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, it passes 5-0. So we'll move on to D7G, which is consider adopting resolution number 7496, amending rules and procedures governing meetings of the governing body, and repealing resolution 7451.
Thank you, Mayor. I pulled this because I was getting quite a few comments from folks in the community, including some questions, and so that was something worth discussion. But one of those was some questions related to what quasi-judicial is compared to legislative, and I tried to give my best explanation of that, but thought that might be useful, and how we might see that going forward.
This is Ray Larkin, Deputy City Attorney. I can discuss that. The legislative body is something that applies to the whole city as a whole and is generally prospective in nature. So it would be something like passing a brand new law that would go into the city code. Something that's quasi-judicial is where you are applying you hear the facts and you apply the city code to those facts to determine whether somebody's rights are being infringed, or whether they're entitled to what it is they're seeking. So basically it involves somebody's property interest rights, typically could be a liberty interest rights, but those are things that implicate due process of the 14th Amendment, and those are what quasi-judicial is. So basically, if you're kind of sitting as a quasi-judicial body, you're hearing facts, you're making decisions regarding the credibility of those facts, you apply the law to those facts and reach a decision. And that's what a quasi-judicial proceeding is.
And some examples I can think of would be quite a few of the zoning issues, obviously, most of the zoning decisions. Like you said, BCA, maybe issues related to condemnation.
Absolutely. It would be zoning, special use permits, licenses. If we try to revoke a license or there's an appeal regarding license. If there's an appeal involving like property maintenance code, some of those types of deals that involve property rights or liberty rights, then that's quasi-judicial.
have some comments, but I think those are my questions I wanted to share you out there.
I had a question. Randy, so even though the public won't be able to pull some items off the consent agenda, they can still request that they be pulled through their commissioner, is that correct?
But this Randy Larkin, Deputy City Attorney, absolutely, that's what we intend, or that's what's intended there, is that they communicate with the commissioner, and the commissioner then can pull any item that the commissioner so desires to pull, and that's how those people are.
Any other questions for Randy? If not, we'll open it up to public comment.
I'll go ahead and go first here, because Randy really said it. He started to slip there when he said that was the intent behind it. That's very key to what's happening here, because these changes to consent, it's difficult to get the timing on this, because a few weeks ago, I came in here frustrated with the way that you guys don't listen to us and try to throw people out of here and refuse to acknowledge the issues that we bring to you. And I pulled an entire item, E, it had several numbers in it. I could have taken 27 minutes that night to talk, 3 minutes for each single item. I could have done that. I spent 2 minutes to make a point that the citizens have the ability to come in here and tell you things. And this all goes right back to the fact that there's 3 people up there that have repeatedly not been able to sit for 3 minutes and listen to the public that you work for. That is terribly important. And it's terribly disheartening that you guys won't do that. It's terribly disheartening that there's only one of you up there that will even engage legitimately with people. That's terribly disencouraging and discouraging about this. This is supposed to be government of the people. And the intent behind it is clear. That was the intent behind it. Now, we can contact you to have something pulled, but as the attorney said, it's going to be up to your desire. So honestly, if I was to contact Courtney Shipley and ask her to pull something from the consent, does anybody in this room really think that's going to happen? But I guarantee that if Ted Boyle calls in and wants something pulled, that will happen. See, this is the discretionary authority that the city is taking, the same as the police do. It's discretionary. You're enhancing the discretionary ability of this commission to control the public speech. And that is against what we stand for as a country, as a county, as a state, as a city. When you took an oath, you took an oath not only to the U.S. Constitution, but to the state constitution, the city bylaws, which all reinforce the state and national constitutions. Every single one of you have. And the problem is there's a lot of times here in the recent past, well within 2 years, where you guys have ignored your oaths and gone against them. Those things are going to come back to haunt you legally. And these moves like this are going to be more evidence that this body did not want to hear from the public. We've brought legitimate issues to you. You have a police chief that lies, but you won't hear that. He's on video doing it, but you don't acknowledge it. You guys are going to do what you're going to do. I'm assuming that this is going to pass 5-0, but I'll still be here every week.
Yeah, this is Chris Flowers. I called today, and I asked who was because it takes 3 to direct staff to bring something, and I asked who was the third that okayed it, because if you go back and watch the video, the mayor brought it up, and then Lil John okayed it, but none of the other 3 said something. And I'm just asking because if I do go on to the next round, I'm going to assume that all 3 of you wanted this brought back, and you wanted to take away more of the public's free speech. It's not a popular thing. I don't think most of the town would want you doing this if you just asked them. And so I want the 3 candidates that are running, and I want you all to admit that you brought this back. Because right now, it's staff's discretion that you see from the body language, that you seem that you were all in consensus that you want it brought back. And here's something else I honestly don't remember, but wasn't this defeated in the past? So how do we go from, this was defeated just last year, and now the mayor wants it brought back, and what do you know, it's not only brought back, it's brought back the very next meeting, and it's brought back on consent, not even a regular agenda item. And that's absolutely fucking bullshit. It is fucking bullshit that this is not a regular agenda item. And you know what else? We need to have a fast meeting tonight because we gotta get, us candidates, we gotta get to the election office for the party, for the interviews with the news media. So we have to have a fast meeting. Is that why this was on consent? Because here's something else I asked. We're bringing back that plastic bag ban. And I believe Sellers last meeting, she questioned about who was the third person consenting on that one. So if she can question that, I hope she can, say that she wanted this one brought back tonight. But going back to the consent, I think it's kind of bogus to be putting something on consent that should be on a regular agenda item. And if you bring back that plastic bag ban, I bet you for sure that's gonna be on the regular agenda item. So I ask you this, is free speech, is this something that's not controversial? Is this something that actually deserves to be on the consent? Because by putting it on the consent, that was not reported in the newspapers. I mean, and you look, it doesn't really say what it does, like in the agenda item. So I ask you to defer
Thank you,
this
Chris.
to a future meeting.
Any other public comment on this item? Zoom?
Stephen Watts.
Hi. What manner of nonsense is this in terms of restricting the ability of the public to bring forth matters that need to be discussed by pulling matters in the consent agenda? As an example, this matter itself could not have been brought to the attention of the town commission were it not for Mr. Finkeldine to set the matter aside. Is this just another wanton power grab by a government body in an effort to restrict the abilities? I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, really, to read this quote, in support of the city's commitment to effective governance. This is funny stuff. It really is. I mean, denying the ability of the public to come forward and say, let's talk about this, what is the problem? And so, as this passes, if it does, and it looks like it's going to, it depends on how much you can kowtow to the members of the town commission in order to get an amen. And if you are not liked, if you do not have a pleasing personality, you will not have anything happen, irrespective of right or wrong. This is a bad move. And you can keep doing this restriction stuff. And what you do is you motivate the other opportunities. Do you want people to start going to every community meeting and just throwing in 2 cents here and there just to take up time as a matter of retribution for what you are discussing here? It's absolutely incredible. Your turn.
You have a public comment on Zoom?
That's all the comments there.
All right, bring back to the commission for discussion. Any discussion from the commissioners?
I did want to double check, might be a random question, but there's nothing in the Kansas Constitution that requires that we allow the public to remove things from consent.
Oh my God, miscontextualize what I say. I'll leave. That was cheap. Throw me out. Throw me out. That was cheap. That was cheap, Courtney. Trying to misconstrue my words. That was cheap. You don't need an officer. Go to hell. That was cheap. That was cheap. trying to misconstrue with the words I say.
For this item, actually, we closed.
Look at her in there, pleased with herself.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I missed you. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I was here for something else, but this seems pretty important. My name is Monroe Hanford. I live in Lawrence, and I didn't prepare what I was going to say because I was just sitting over there to celebrate Ordinance 9999. But I really think that the public should be able to comment on agenda items, and that the ability to bring something forward for further discussion shouldn't be limited to the people in the seats up there. Because sometimes there's something really important that someone has to come say. And a lot of times, people are shut out from engaging with their officials. So, I know there's not a lot of people that come to these meetings, at least that's kind of what it seems like. So if people do want to come and talk with you about something that's important to them, I think they should have that opportunity, and I would hope they would listen. Thank you very much.
Okay, back up to commissioners for discussion.
It seemed important. I was reading through the agenda, and they want to make it so that the public can't pull items off of the consent agenda.
Is that what everybody was saying?
Yeah. Yeah, they wanted to make it so that the public can't pull items off of the consent agenda.
Yeah, they hit it. That's
I had to I was
Right.
looking through there.
right. They hit it. They hit it. They hid it from you.